Hello again. I'm very glad you could join me. I've got a table full of things here. What I've tried to do is I've tried to show you what it would have been like if you'd lived in the country where Jesus lived and at the time that he lived, because the landscape was very different from what we see today. When we think about farmers in this country, we think about lovely flat fields, and we think about tractors and seed drills and combine harvesters. But they didn't have any of that. All they had was ground that sometimes was very rocky, sometimes was very stony, sometimes was full of prickly thistly plants, lots of stones, lots of sand, and even the sheep found it difficult to find a bit of decent grass to eat. Now, Jesus knew that people liked to hear his stories, but he also liked to tell a story that they would sort of understand because they understood the people in the story. And this particular time, he told a story about a farmer who was going out to sow some seeds. And he said the farmer went out, and in those days they had a big basket or a big pot, and all the seeds were inside the pot. And what they would do is they would walk all about the ground, throwing the seeds like this, like this, like this. And then they'd get some more, and they'd throw it, and they'd throw it, and they'd throw it. And as you can see, it went all over the place. And Jesus said some of the seed fell on rocky ground, and of course the birds swooped down and picked it up immediately. Some of the seeds fell on the pathway, and people walked across it, and it got trodden in, and it didn't really take root and grow. Others fell amongst the stones, others fell amongst the thistles. And the thistles, once the seeds did begin to grow, the thistles were much bigger and stronger and would choke the new seeds. But Jesus said some of the seed did fall on really good ground, and it was watered, and soon it would grow and grow and bear fruit, and the people would be able to harvest it and make bread. And so that was the story that he told. Now, Jesus often talked in what we call parables, and you had to really listen hard to find the meaning of the parables. And Jesus even said to them at the end of the story, if you have ears to hear, listen. You might have remembered that from Messy Church last week. Jesus said, if you have ears to hear, listen. He was talking about the people who sometimes pretend not to be able to hear. Like I said last week, it's time to tidy your bedroom, and you don't hear. But when Mummy says, would you like an ice cream, you do hear. So Jesus was saying to the people, when he'd listened to his story, if you have ears to hear, you jolly well listen. Well, of course, a lot of people didn't understand what his story was all about. So he explained it to his disciples. And he said, when the farmer went out to sow his seed, some of it landed on the rock, and straight away the birds came down and ate it up. Now, that's like people who hear my message, they hear what I'm saying, they hear that they know they need to turn from their bad ways and turn to loving ways and to worshipping God. But as soon as they hear it, it goes in one ear and out the other. So that's the seed that fell on stony ground, rocky ground. Now some of the seed fell on stony ground, and where there were stones, there was also a bit of soil, and so, probably it did begin to sprout, but after a little while it got choked by the stones and people walking across it. And that's like the people who, they start off all enthusiastic and say, oh, I'm going to tell everybody about Jesus. And then they get busy doing other things and they forget all about it. And what about the seed that fell amongst the thistles? Well, Jesus says that's like the people who hear my word, they think they're going to do something about it, but it means they've got to change their ways a bit if they've been greedy or selfish. And after a while, those people think, I don't really want to stop what I'm doing. I don't want to be all loving and care for people. I'm going to carry on doing what I want to do. And so the seed doesn't grow. So God's word doesn't grow. But when the seed lands on the lovely fertile soil and it's watered by the rain, then the seed will grow. And Jesus says, that's like the people who listen to what I have to say, they hear what I have to say, and they go out and they do wonderful things. They help the poor. They help people who haven't got shelter. They tell people about God's love. So they spread the good news. And that's like the seed that spreads and grows. So that's the story that Jesus told. Now, it got me thinking about other sorts of seeds. And I went into the fridge, not quite into it, but opened the fridge. And I got out all sorts of things that have got seeds. I thought I'd show you some. I got out a cucumber, and I don't know if you can see, but in the middle of the cucumber, you can see all the little tiny seeds. Same with the tomato. I've stuck them onto kitchen rolls so they don't slide off. Can you see the lovely seeds in a piece of tomato? And then I looked and I thought, I've got some apples. Now, I don't know about you, but usually when I cut into an apple, I cut down from the stalk into 4, open it up and scoop out the seeds. But then I thought, I wonder if the children will ever have seen an apple cut the other way. So I'm going to cut this apple, not that way, but that way. So here I go. Sharp knife here, so you might need some help if you do this. And when I cut it open, I see a star shape. And you can see some of the seeds still in there, some have dried up. But can you see the star shape? So I thought, I wonder if that works with a pear. So I got a pear, and I did the same with a pear. And lo and behold, I saw the star shape. Well, I don't want to waste all this lovely fruit. And in fact, what I did was I made a couple of little cars out of my fruit. These are apples, and I've used radishes for the wheels of that one, and I've used bits of date for that one. So you could perhaps try making some little fruit snacks which are edible. Part, of course, from the stick, the little cocktail stick. But all the rest is edible. Make sure you wash your hands first, though. I probably won't eat those because my hands have been a bit grubby with all the seeds. Now, some seeds take a long, long while to grow, but other seeds can grow really, really quickly. So just to finish off with, I'm going to show you how you can make some seeds grow really, really quickly. What I've got here is I've got a little pot, I have butter in it, and I've got some little cotton wool circles. Probably got some at home somewhere, but ask the owner first if you can have them. And if you put them into the bottom of the tub like that, and then put quite a bit of water, because you want the cotton wool to be really soaked. So there I am putting the water in. Some of the water will run into the pot itself, but that's perfectly all right. And then I'm going to get some cress seeds, because cress grows very, very quickly. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle them onto the cotton wool. Some of them have gone into the water, but that doesn't matter. And then I'm going to put that on a windowsill, probably in the kitchen, and make sure every day that you test that it's still wet. You mustn't let the cotton wool dry out. Well, about 2 days ago, I tried this out. 2 days ago. And let me show you what I've got. A bit soggy. already I've got some seeds that have already started to germinate. I don't know if you can see the little sprouts that are coming out. And after a little while, I will have a tub full of cress seed, which I will be able to harvest and have with my salad. So it would be something that you could try and do. Very simple. If you haven't got any cotton wool, then you can fold some kitchen paper and put that in the bottom of your tub, and you will find that that is just as satisfactory. Okay, well, I think that's all for now. I'm just going to, while I'm saying goodbye to you, I'm going to see if I can make a little picture with the rest of my fruits here. It does seem a shame to waste them. Oh, I've got a little bit of spaghetti here, which has got a bit wet, so it's got a bit bent, which is handy. So I'm going to make that as my my stalk, and then I'm going to have the tomato, which I'm going to put there, and I'm going to get my cucumber and put it all around the middle of the flower, like that. And, oh, I think my dates will do as leaves. So I'll put the leaf there and the leaf there. And I shall leave you now and hope to see you again next time. Bye-bye. See if I can make that balance. Nope, don't think it wants to. So there it is. Bye-bye.